Okay, so um, we're having a conversation here about when Donald will fire Kash. Now, I heard Kash say something kind of odd today in his. Well, there's this stuff that keeps running on the internet, even though they said Congress is not in session. But it's this video, not a word. FBI Chief Kash Patel, savage reply shocks senators. And this is under the Economic Times. And so they're running this thing over and over again. They're not saying a word that Congress is not in session. So this woman pops up and she says, well, Congress is not even in session. So I have no idea when this interrogation with Kash Patel took place related to what is actually going on right now with what's going on right now with uh, these hearings that are taking place. And so these old women are interrogating, and so it looks to me like the old women want things to go back into the handmaiden days. I mean, I think they're part of the problem too with our society a little bit. And so it's just something that I see, that there's a lot of old women in Congress too, that are set in their ways. Some of those secretaries and some of those old lady politicians that are from the right and conservative, and they've been in there a very, very long time. And they're set in their ways, and they want things to go back to how they were, and they lack the understanding of things that are going on out in the real world, related to the internet. And, when they're taken care of and they're paid really, really well, these women are out of touch. When they found a salary and income to take care of themselves, and they're probably millionaires too. I wouldn't be surprised if the secretary that you see sitting there on the House floor, who looks like a conservative little librarian, that she's worth a millionaire. I bet you $1 to a donut. She's got millions of dollars, and somehow she has been doing something to be getting herself some of that money. Otherwise, she wouldn't be there. And that's why some of those secretaries and some of those old lady politicians, they've been in there for a really, really long time. And so they were talking about, and they were saying, related to the FBI director, they brought up the issue again that Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, they said Lisa Page worked for the Department of Justice, Peter Strzok worked for the FBI, which I thought Lisa Page was actually FBI. I didn't realize she was Department of Justice. And so what they expressed was that Peter Strzok got $1 million for being fired by Donald Trump. You guys remember that Donald Trump fired Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. And so Lisa Page only got $800,000. Now, why is it that Lisa Page didn't get $1 million? Can you guys tell me that? So how come Lisa Page didn't get $1 million, just like Peter Strzok got $1 million? I think that's a valid question. Sergeant Vic, I need help. I think someone is following me and I don't know what to do. I I don't think there's anything that you can do. I just wanted to say I support our military. I know they're having to go off on this dastardly mission of things that they don't want to do. And if you need help getting something said, I'll say it for you. I mean, I'll tell the Russians to fuck off if that's what you need. But I'm not sure what to do. Now, I know that when I was a military spouse, we were told to keep track of things, to write it down and keep track of what happens. That's what they told us. Now, I never in a million years would I have actually thought that, by writing things down, that it would actually be considered paranoia in the future, related to the drug companies and their stupid rhetoric and stuff that they're pushing on the internet. Never in a million years would I have thought of that. Now, the military police recommended to me for things to write it down and keep track of it. So I don't know what good that does. I mean, it creates a history of you're writing it down, you're keeping track of it. I don't know what that does because, I mean, you're seeing something that you think is uncommon. It's just the same thing, like when you have when there's a person who's actually being of what is the word I'm looking for? For lack of a better word, like a man who's exposing his genitals inappropriate to women in public, in real life, in public, not just on the internet. I've raised the issue and compared that to the internet and real life. And, it's like you do it in real life, you're going to get in trouble. You would think. But on the internet, we aren't afforded that we're not afforded the same thing. We just have a bunch of people who think they can just take their clothes off on the internet. They don't think of it as a workplace. And I was just thinking, well, why don't some of these men, if they feel like it's so important, walk into a lawyer's office, walk into the police station without your pants on, with your genitals hanging out, with your big old saggy, with your tiny saggy sluggish looking ding-a-ling, walk into the fucking police officer quarters, into their office without your pants on, and see what happens. Do that. Go to the police station. Go walk into the courthouse without your pants on. Please go there and do it. But instead, no, you do it in places where people are vulnerable, and you take advantage of that, and you exploit that. And so I don't know, hello, Raven Sarpong. So I get tired of these idiots who do this stuff in exploiting. I mean, that's what I call it. I don't know what any other word of what to do. I used to write things. I used to write things to a person, but I never got any response from them. So, it's like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I can call up Crime Stoppers. I've written to Crime Stoppers about things before and kind of felt like nothing happened, and then maybe something did happen. I don't know, because I don't know how they work. And, but when you see someone doing the same thing again, they're repeating the same behaviors, they need to be fucking removed and fired. And so, hi, beautiful, superior white goddess. I respect your channel, beautiful. Why, thank you. Thank you, nice guy. I appreciate your kind words. Thank you, because it's nice to have kinder words that align with my spirit than what I've had in the past. I kind of feel like a little change in things, a change in direction. And, we all should be able to be political without being shamed. That's what I'm feeling like. Now, I mean, the only thing I have said that I agree on is the fact that the parties are the problem. And so there's people on the internet right now who are still very partisan. They're talking about the Democrat Party this, the Democrat Party that. And I'm like, please, it's like we have things on both sides that affect people. And you're a woman who is actually wanting to help a party. You're not wanting to help the American people. So when you're hollering about a party this and a party that, you're wanting to help the party, not the American public. I'm not a superior white goddess. I'm not a superior white goddess. It's just been a day. I mean, that's what I would have to say. I found something to do to keep myself productive. But what I wanted to say was, if you need to vent, and I know the military has to be very selective about staying neutral with things, but if you have something or you need a little bit of help with something that needs to be said, I can say it, because I'm not under any type of neutrality. I'm not under any type of neutrality. And so I see things for what they are. And, I see what's going on related to, I take my lead a little bit from General Mark Milley, and, I am still in alignment with General Mark Milley, even though he's retired, but I still believe him, because I have no reason, I don't do it without, keeping in mind that they're not perfect, but at the same time, and I've had my own experience being married to a non-commissioned officer, and things weren't great with that. So I call you that out of respect, beauty. Okay, wait, thank you. You can do that if you want to. That's fine. You can do that. Okay, I'm back. I briefly lost my signal there, and I'm back. So that's a fun little feature that YouTube has. I lose my signal, and I can get right back on again after I've lost my signal. And so, nice guy, thank you. That's far and few between, and so I'll thank you from you for saying that, because that's far and few between. And so, yeah. And so I just put the picture up, as maybe a, I don't know. I don't know. The other one works a little bit better. The one where that I work for people to promote stuff, because I don't like to be antagonistic. People like who they like, and they don't like who they like for whatever reason. And but the American public is who's suffering, and that's why I want to bring light to this issue, because it's like the American people suffer. It doesn't matter which side of partisan politics you're on, the American people suffer. So I'm a solid in the center. Thank you, Muffler Man. I'm a solid in the center here. And, it's the American people who suffer. And, I support our military. I support our police. I know they're in a tough spot when they have to be neutral, and there's things they don't agree with, and we're in a horrific time right now. It's like I still feel it. It's very tiring, so I can check out completely, and I can just do artwork, or I can talk about this from time to time and tell you I think that the leadership in the United States is full of shit. I really do. I mean, I can just call it the leadership and say they're full of shit. Now, if I say leadership, that's a neutral term, isn't it? So I gave you guys something else. Here's the leadership is full of shit. So as long as you're not directly insulting the leadership of the leadership, I think you're going to be fine. That's just my opinion. But, I say that cautiously, to be cautious. The leadership is full of shit. The supervisor is full of shit. The swamp is full of shit. Oh, we know who you're talking about with the swamp. The swamp and the sewer. Two very good ones. We have a lot of fun with that on the internet, making memes and jokes about it. We know who you're talking about right now, because it's so deep embedded in, we know who you're talking about when you bring up that issue and you say, if you want to be neutral, you can sewer and swamp it. And we're going to know who you're talking about. But thank you for subscribing. Nice guy. Thank you for subscribing. I hope others of you will subscribe, and we'll go on this journey together of however it works, and how things change. I always say the more things are supposed to change, the more they stay the same. I think that's a fact, and that's what I see. It's like, because if I think back to when I was a kid graduating from high school, I knew nothing. I knew that I knew nothing. I knew that. I wasn't so oblivious and stupid to know that I knew nothing. I was still wet behind the ears. That was my dad's favorite saying to tell me, oh, you're still wet behind the ears. You're still wet behind the ears. Eventually he stopped saying that when I got knocked up. Oh, you're still wet behind the ears. And I often thought, well, what in the world does that mean? What does that mean exactly? I will always treat you as a superior. That is just me. You don't have to treat me as a superior, because of the fact that I don't think of myself as superior to anyone. I mean, the word superior is it could be a trending word somehow. It could be an artistic word somehow, but I'm not superior to anyone. I never have been, and I never will be. I like the word equal. When it comes to men, I like the word equal. I want to be seen as an equal, not a superior. That's not what I want. I don't think any woman wants to be a superior, even though she she could be seen as temporarily superior if she's ever president. You know, she might be seen as a temporarily superior in some way, or maybe she just got her equality. Actually, if we ever get a woman president, she's going to be seen as, oh my gosh, women have finally made it. You know, wouldn't that be pretty cool if we actually did have a woman who was able to make it into as president? I think it would. I would love to see a woman make it as president. I don't know who that would be. You want to beautiful. I'm different beautiful. I respect white women beautiful. Okay. Um, well, what makes you think that I'm a white woman? Because technically, there's no such thing as white. I'll tell you that right now. There is absolutely no such thing as white. White does not exist. Ask any white person. White does not exist. We used to be called Caucasian. I like the word Caucasian better, but maybe it came with too many connotations. I don't know. It may have. Maybe that's why they changed it to black and white. I don't know. Sometimes the government does things. I have no idea why. Maybe the purpose of using black and white was for the American public to come to this conclusion on our own that black and white does not exist. And then how do we put in everybody else in between? Because we actually don't have a color choice on job applications for brown people or gray people. And some people might consider themselves gray because if they're a mix of black and white, they're going to be gray. I just know my place, beautiful, and I respect you, beautiful. Why, thank you. Thank you so much, nice guy. Um, I was just thinking something else, too. I noticed this young man, and this young man he's actually, oh my, I know he's above the age of 18, so I can say this, but he is just cute as a button. If I was young, I would want to be dating this kid for some reason. He's so cute, but he's too young. He's more like a grandchild, you know. But I think that's terrible of me to think that thought. I feel like I need to go take a shower because he's that young. But I like him though. That's the thing. I really like him though. It's like, oh my gosh, he just makes me kind of giddy and thinking back to high school. It's like if I was my high school brain kicked in. So guilt me. I'm guilty. I am guilty, guilty, guilty of having impure thoughts about a young guy who is a YouTuber, and he's hilarious. The more I listen to him, the more I see he's trolling. And I think that maybe I'm in love with the trolling aspect of what he's doing because I think it's funny. And he's got everybody's panties in a bunch. And so I'm just fangirling over this kid who is, I think he said he's 24 years old. And I'm like, oh my God, I need a shower. Please get that thought out of my brain. I shouldn't have said that. Okay, so I would treat you like a queen superior white goddess. I just love white women. I need to go take a shower because I'm having impure thoughts about this YouTuber kid who said he's 24 years old. Oh goodness. I would be your black slave, beautiful. I don't want a slave. I don't want a slave. I never wanted a. I never. You know what? When I got married to my second husband, I didn't want expect that he was going to be a slave. If he would have, you know what? If he would have said that, if he would have told me at the beginning and told me I had white privilege, the relationship would not have continued. And I'm thinking, if he didn't want to work, well, why did he? Why did he work? If he had money when I met him, why didn't he just quit and do Wall Street then? Why did he keep working? You were okay. You respect, that's fine. You respect white women. Like, do you think that I'm something special or something? I mean, because I'm not making any money on YouTube at all. I have nothing. My channel is new. Um, I'm not doing that great on YouTube. You know, I'm just talking my opinion. I'm just doing things and making videos and stuff like that. I hope that things can go in a different direction, but that's all I have right now is hope. I want to be your black slave. We don't have to be have. I want to be your black slave. We don't have to have a relationship. Okay. Yeah, that sounds so weird. That just sounds so weird. I don't think any person should be a slave. And I'll tell you, I have two um, relatives who are they're relatives and they're mixed. I don't want my I don't want them to be slaves. I don't want any person to be a slave. You know, that's always been my opinion. But the thing is if I'm going to be attacked so hard, then I attack right back with the opposing side and say, well, wait a minute. If you're going to say that all of us have white privilege, then you have black privilege. Don't you guys have black privilege? From what I've seen, absolutely, yes, you have. I mean, and I'm tired of black people playing like they're dumb because they're not. That's what I've seen. Oh, my husband, he taught me that. He's the one who taught me that. And so he said it's just one of those things that um, he said back in the slave days, this is what he told me, as though he was there. He said back in the slave days, black people had to play like they couldn't read, you know, when the slave master came around and things like that. Now, I saw him literally playing dumb, like he didn't know how to do things. And I think it was in that sense of that he learned that if he knew something, that he would have to take on more responsibility. And so he didn't get, so when he went to his job, so he was a supervisor at one job, he was hired on to be the supervisor, and they knew he knew how to do the work because they knew he was doing the work himself. He didn't want to tell other people how to do the work. And so I don't think, because he was telling me at one job when he went to world-class management training, he was telling me that it was his job. He was supposed to train other people and train yourself out of a job. That's the wording he used, is that you are supposed to train other people and train yourself out of a job. Now, when you tell people that, how well do you think that's going to go over when you're telling people that you're training someone else? You're training someone else to take over your job. How well do you think that's going to work? I mean, it's not. And you know what happened? You know what happened with him? There was 3 supervisors, and maybe they all had the same sentiment. And you know what? They are the ones who ended up working 12-hour shifts for sometimes for 2 weeks at a time in a row. 12 hours, 12-hour shifts for 2 weeks in a row when the 3rd supervisor would go on vacation because they didn't want to train their employees. So they had to pick up the slack. They had to do the work. So they got extra work. They did get, at the first place, he did get overtime hours. But the second place, he didn't. He was just salary. He didn't get overtime hours. And so look at how, you know, plus he still had to stay overtime, but he didn't get extra hours. And so, you think, yes, I think you're a special, superior white goddess. Hi again. I promise I will respect you, beautiful. Oh. Well, though I think that would be nice to, you know, respect is fine, you know, especially if you're in a working relationship of some sort with someone. You know, it's like I'll tell you something. It's like I worked with people who I worked in jobs around military bases with people who were of all ethnicities, and we always got along. It's like, I'll tell you, you know what? Black men were some of the most funniest people I ever worked with. They were hilarious. They keep you laughing all day long. So that's the thing that was so discouraging for me. And it's like, you guys have my second husband to blame for this, to blame for the funk that I've been in. It's his fault. But at the same time, I started recognizing there was something else going on, though, too. Something else was going on that, that not, because the thing is, I know not all black men are abusive to people, to women. Um, And so the same thing with the white guys. Not all of them are abusive. It's just I'm the one who's been stuck with. I have ended up with bad relationships. I don't know why. Why is it that I've ended up in bad relationships? I don't have the answer to that. I just don't. But that's one thing I found about black men is they're funny. I mean, that's one thing I loved about the 90s, like watching the 90s stuff. And when we were over in Germany, we had a lot of black television over there that was comedy show. We had a mix, though. It was a combination of a mix. It wasn't all black, it wasn't all white. It was a fair amount of a mix. And gosh, there was one guy, at one time he told me, he's like, "You got a bad case of jungle fever." And it's like, what do you mean by that? He never told me what he meant by that. I know I'm different, queen. I would treat you like a queen, beautiful. Um, well, I've never been a queen of anything. I've never been anything. Um, I've never been anything at all. Um, you know, so I just feel better about myself now that I can say that. It's like, um, the nonsense. There's a nonsensical side about black men. Big nonsense. And so when they go down the low IQ route and the jokes, the humor and the funny of it, it's hilarious. And it's like, okay, I can play this game too and we can create some really stupid content. What they call the brain rot? You know. However, I think legacy media may not know how to play that as well as we do on the internet. I mean, they play it pretty, oh my gosh, they play it pretty well. You look at some of the old Carol Burnett shows, Carol Burnett, Flip Wilson, Red Fox, Married with Children, Roseanne, they all play it. They all play brain rot. Every last one of those comedy shows on TV, think of them as brain rot. Watch those shows and see what you can take from them and see if there's something there and you can kind of deviate it off over to the internet and think of something ridiculous and silly. You have a slave mentality. I'm afraid to I'm afraid to even I'm not even going to ask what that is. I know what your slave mentality is. I really think that I know what your slave mentality, and that's not just a black man's slave mentality going down that route. That's a man mentality. That is a man mentality going down that route, and I know exactly where you're going with that. You're 44. You're 44 years old, or you're talking about you're married with children. Ben is my name. He's married with children, and nice guy is 44. I guess. So what are you saying? You're 44 inches around your waist, or you're talking about the Mr. Doolally is 44 inches long, or so what direction are you going with this? Um, oh, Mr. Doolally, I kind of forgot about that. The idiot up in, I'm not going to say, I was going to say. Um, the thing is, if this guy didn't open his mouth, he would be funny. But he was kind of mean, I thought. He was really mean. And he's like, I will just be this way and just be that way. And it's like, the TV show Married with Children it absolutely, I agree with you. It's absolute brain rot. Married with Children, Roseanne is brain rot. Flip Wilson is brain rot. Now, you guys can't just include just white people TV as brain rot. You got to include Pam Anderson and Baywatch is brain rot. All of it, it's brain rot. What else? What other shows? Grace Under Fire was brain rot. Fred Sanford was brain rot. You're making your life. Skylar is making a live. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of shows that was, you know who else was brain rot? Oh, all reality. The Kardashians is brain rot. Think about it, guys. Think about it. The Kardashians is brain rot. So if they're going to be mean to us on the internet, you can go right back on them. All these shows about, what is it? The Real Housewives of Brain Rot. That's all they are. The drag queens, RuPaul's drag queens is brain rot. All of it is brain rot. Living Color was the worst. Oh, Living Color. Who was that guy though? Oh my gosh, I liked him. I can't. He had a really deep voice, and he was dating the girl that was an attorney. But they were both attorneys. But oh my gosh, I had a mad crush on him for a long time. I can't remember his name though. But that show was brain rot. Flavor Flav was brain rot. All the Real Housewives shows, that's all brain rot. Teen pregnancy is brain rot. Yeah, in Living Color. Absolutely, in Living Color is. They were good. They were funny. They were funny for the time that they were at. I kind of thought. But if you want to think about it, every last one of them was brain rot. Happy Days was brain rot. Well, God bless you too. Have a nice day, nice guy. Thank you for stopping by. And hopefully we'll see you again sometime in the future. And thank you for subscribing if you did. And thank you for stopping by if you didn't subscribe. And just come back anytime. Maybe I'll just pop back up in the feed again too. Have a safe weekend, holiday weekend. I hear it's a weekend. Chelsea she is absolute brain rot. But actually, and so was Chelsea Handler? No, it wasn't Chelsea Handler. That other girl, Amy, was the one that was with that movie. What movie was that? And she was with what was his name? I can't remember his name. And he was in that movie, and he was like, oh my gosh, it's like I can't remember the name of the movie, but yeah, Chelsea Handler is brain rot, and Amy Schumer is brain rot, and all the wrestling WWE is brain rot. Thank you for subscribing. Actually, we have brain rot leadership in the United States for our country right now. We have a lot of brain rot going on. So it's like, who are they to say that those of us on the internet are brain rot? Who are they to say that? And so we have to push back on, granted, yes, there was a time and there was a day when they were making movies, and I have a feeling in the future that will probably come back around again. I think there's going to come a time in the future where all that's going to roll back around, and they'll probably go back to making movies. I don't know how many years it's going to take, but people are having things are on the internet now. People have a voice, and I don't think that's going to change. Adam Sandler is embarrassing. Yeah. Oh, yes. In the show, Jackass TV is brain rot. Absolute brain rot. Fox News, brain rot. Um, Gutfield is brain rot. So, yeah, uh, they wanted to just kind of tear us down on the internet. Brain rot is what a lot wants, and it sells. Oh, yeah, I know that. I don't, I like the debating. I like the debating, and when I know that people are doing an argument the way they do some of them on TikTok were hilarious because it's like, well, they would just completely block all of us from actually being able to go into the panels somehow. And so sometimes it was almost like it was automated. The ones I thought was the funniest was when the Flat Earth Society went into their little spiel, and they were just arguing with each other. So to me, it was like they knew each other. They knew each other in the background, and to me, it was almost sometimes it was like, well, is this when they talked about the thing of the two Google Homes and they put them together and they were arguing back and forth with each other, so it was kind of like AI arguing with each other. Jack Black is, oh no, shut up, stop. He's brain rot. Absolutely, Jack Black is brain rot. Complete brain rot. Adam Sandler is brain rot. Yes, Adam Sandler is brain rot. And he's an old man now too. Have you guys seen how old these guys are? They're old. They're geriatrics. They belong in a nursing home. They should not be. They're too old to be on the internet. And now granted, I'm an old person my own self, but they're way too old because they lied about their age. The worst, Cardi B. Yes, she's brain rot. Lil Wayne is brain rot. Kanye is brain rot. Kim Kardashian is brain rot. Who else? Who else am I? Kendrick Lamar is brain rot. Football players. Football is brain rot. Absolute brain rot. I mean, it is. They are just the worst of the worst of the worst, and brain rot is what they are. Um, Let me see what else I can find on here. If there's something else, I'll tell you some more brain rot. I'm gonna find it right now. I'm gonna go through. Okay. The Chiefs versus the Chargers is brain rot. This is football. Um. Let me see. And we're gonna do Hurricane Wisdom. What the heck is that? Hurricane Wisdom? Do you guys know what this is? This sounds like it could be a fun trend. I'm sure there's got to be some brain rot in there somewhere. A hell of a boss is a trend. Hell of a boss. The Hawaiian roller coaster ride. I'm sure that's got to be brain rot. How to tie a tie. How it's done. Hot ones has got to be brain rot. Who did a hot fart chart? Hot fart chart. Brain rot is not hard to find. I know it's not. It's not hard to find at all. Apparently, it's pretty easy to find. I'm just glad and happy here to find that there's things that are different. But how to tie a tie apparently is still popular. If you guys want to know how to tie a tie, just call up an attorney. That's why your attorney is there to help you. Call up the attorneys and ask them how to tie a tie. What else are they doing right now? They're doing nothing. They're doing absolutely nothing. So call up an attorney and ask them how to tie a tie. You don't want to do that? You don't want to call up an attorney and ask them how to tie a tie? Why not? I think that would be fun. Okay, now I'm in the music. We're going to find a lot of brain rot now. Pop certified. Oh, they have changed today's biggest hits. I just got 1, 2, 3, 4 more ideas here. The hit list, pop certified on everything, today's hip hop hits and Latin now. they've kind of changed a little bit. The country hot list, Chroma, today's dance hits. Oh, interesting. Chroma. I didn't know that existed. Maximum decibels, today's rock hits, today's indie hits, Highline, today's R&B hits, Hot Regation, Caribbean Pulse, and Christian hits. Oh, interesting. 2025 songs of summer, all-time summer jams, country summer, and summer house. I like the new names for this. The new genre names. You like whips and chains, superior white goddess. I'm just different, madame. You love hip. I don't love hip hop, but I do like it. I mean, I like, I don't know how to put it. I mean, I like listening to hip hop. I have listened to it quite a lot. It mixes in with pop as far as I'm concerned, because when I listen to hip hop, it's really no different than uh, it's really no different than dance music or techno. They're kind of mixed in there the same. I'm really surprised techno is not in here, but techno is more of a 90s thing, I think, but I still like using techno though. There's little hints of techno here and there. I do like hip hop. I always have. Even though I stayed away from it for a long time because I was mad at my ex-husband. I wasn't listening to it. But I think hip hop is what you want it to be. Hip hop is what you want it to be. It's not, it doesn't belong to a color of people. Hip hop is what you want it to be. And so, when AI does hip hop with me, when I do some things with the AI, it does some fun things related to hip hop. Um, I would let you beat me with a whip, respectful. Beat you with a whip. That's not something I'm interested in doing. I don't want to beat you with a whip. Songs of the Summer 2025. I didn't know this was a thing. Songs of the Summer 2025. I'm missing out on this trend. If I want to get in on next year, I guess I start making a playlist or something of 2026 songs of summer, or will it be called something else? Summer jams, country summer, summer house, new and trending songs, release, the short list, pop before it breaks, hashtag hits. Oh, 154 songs. Artists on the rising trend. Cordis, Tyler Nance, Keeps Me Sane, official music video. Arlene, MC, Mamazota, official. Fun throwbacks, the hits of the tens. Is that what it says? Yep, the hits of the tens. I didn't know that was a thing, but it is. Classic rock's greatest hits. Double zeros, double goose eggs, hip hop, 1990s country. Okay, so this is, do you enjoy that weirdness from Nice Guy? Um, he he's fine. He's not that bad. He's not over the top. It's like if he wants to write it, who am I to say what he wants to write? I mean, it's things that people have written before. It's not the first time I've heard it. So, it's mixed usage of wording. That's what it is. When you think of whip, I like whips. Did you know? This is a do you know? In Congress, they have something called a whip, a House whip. And I'm not sure I don't even know what the congressional whip stands for, but in Congress, they have something called a whip. Um, Hip hop actually tells people other than color, don't listen. Oh, they're telling people to not listen to their music? Well, the hip hop is different from hard rap. Hard rap is nasty. Hard rap tells you not to listen because it tells how the men think of women. Hard rap tells what men think of women. Hip hop is more in line with pop and pop culture, and it doesn't have as much of the cursing in it I don't think it does. And actually, there's a crossover, but even though it's kind of a strange, it's been geared towards a culture, but Justin Bieber and who else? Eminem tried to get into hip hop. Joshua Lovell, the word Lovell, wasn't that one of the astronauts who had a name Lovell? Um, Morningstar, Ben Maybe. Do you like yoga? Yes or no? Um, yeah, yoga is fine. I just can't do it. Well, there's a popular trend called chair yoga. Did you guys know that? Because I slightly remember saying something when I had my original channel about chair yoga, and I thought it could be a trend, it could be a thing, and it seems like it's starting to trickle out now. It was something, maybe it wasn't. It was called chair exercise at one time, but it's chair yoga, and it's like you can do yoga things in a chair just like you can. So yes, I would have to say yes, chair yoga, that's a great idea. Lightstar, you've been stuck on hard rock. I like hard rock. We have the Hard Rock Cafe and around in various places. Hard rock and roll, um, which is music. And actually, we've kind of gravitated away from hard rock, though. I kind of think over the years we've gone more towards mellow and pop music. So, I mean, we do have the rocker bands, but they're not. Okay, back in my day, we complained about hard rock. We couldn't understand the words. Even myself as a kid, we complained that we couldn't understand the words. Now, jump up 20 years from when I was a kid to the 1990s. And so we had hip hop and rap. And we complained because we couldn't understand the words. So what's different? We got a little bit of change and more of the same, right? You know, and so you could take, I'll tell you this much. This is what I've always thought. You can take a white guy and you can put some makeup on him, and what is he? He's a rap artist now, isn't he? So you just dressed him up because that's what entertainers do, isn't it? They put on a little bit of makeup and they all make themselves look the same. Maybe they're doing it as a joke. I don't know. I mean, and they said the guy, who is that guy, Jelly Jam or Jelly Roll? Oh, Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll. They said he looks completely different without tattoos. So that means he must have painted his tattoos on his face. Okay, so let's look here. Ben is my name. Benjamin Franklin was a very, very into some stuff, rock star of the time. Yes, a rock star. Wasn't there a website called Rockstar at one time? I don't know if it's still around or not, but there was a website called Rockstar. I'm glad you understand me, beautiful. Nice guy, your voice is relaxing. Why, thank you, nice guy. Morningstar Hard Rock Cafe is brain rot. Absolutely, you're right, it is. All of the casinos. Oh, you know what else is brain rot? Hooters. Hooters is brain rot. Hooters Cafe is brain rot. You're a little racist. I'm not racist. You guys want to say I'm racist. The tragedy of Michael Jackson's son. What happened to Prince? Now they're implying that something has happened to Prince Michael Jackson. I don't know. They use that as clickbait. Mississippi news anchor suddenly dies at 42. Our hearts are broken. It's all brain rot. I can't believe how many people are dying. It's just this huge. It's like either there's more people dying than anything right now. And I've even noticed, this is what I looked at. I went further south into Florida and I looked at this place earlier today and it was so strange. I don't know how I have no idea how the internet does this, but I was looking at their obituaries. And at this one funeral home, every single person in the funeral home was black. Now, when I went to the newspaper, every single person in the newspaper was white. And I'm like, what is going on here? And now they had other obituaries. They just didn't show the picture. And the same thing with the other funeral home. They had some of them were just pictures, but most of them were black people that they were putting in there. So something smells to me. Something smells bad with this. That there is maybe some funeral homes that are doing some things like putting in some fake deaths. I still think this. It's a theory of mine. Now, if it's a conspiracy, I'm not part of it, but what I'm going to say related to a conspiracy that the newspapers are putting in fake obituaries. Well, they put in paid stories, so why wouldn't they put in fake obituaries? Because they can. Um, oh, uh, Godfrey Guilford, or what was his name? What was it? Something like that. Godfrey Guilford or something like that. Morningstar says, I don't care where people are from, but how they act. Yes. Um, the content of your character, for me, is, related to being kind and respectful to people. And if you know what? I'll tell you this about women. Women absolutely don't care. If you don't want to be with a woman long term or have a relationship in that way, don't be. You know, why can't you be platonic friends? There's nothing wrong with people being platonic friends. Have you ever dated a nice guy? Why, why do I have to get... I was married to a black guy for we were together for 18 years. Or let's see, let me think. No, we were married for 14 years and together for at least 16. I just wanted to be your black slave. You don't love me. You don't love me. I don't need a black man to love me. I just don't. I mean, I know it's not in your heart to do that. Um, I don't need to be lied to either. I know you guys are playing. Let's see. Can I be your black slave? No. No, you can't. Um, I don't need slaves. But you know what's in your, you know what's in in slave though is LAVE, and I believe there was a woman on YouTube, and she went by Lisa Lavie, LAVIE, but you could also do LAVE as Lavie. I can clean your house every day. No, actually, that's all the things that my ex-husband had said. Is he had told me, what, I don't have a house to clean. I don't even have a house to clean. So why would you want to clean something I don't even have? My house is more of like the address is homeless, which means you would be cleaning outside. You would have to clean up outside because I don't own anything. I don't have anything of any value. Um, I don't have anything. So, so I just, I have nothing to offer. I'm not making any money. An apartment in the forest. Yeah, that's about it. An apartment in the forest is, you're going to have to get one of those. Actually, somebody did this in the area where I live. You guys are going to find this funny. So we've been knowing what's going on for quite some time in my area. And so someone took, and I mean, this was kind of a funny thing what they did. They took one of the do not disturb from a hotel, and they nailed it on a tree. And they put it in the forest line for do not disturb, like do not disturb the forest. And they put a big sign on there. And so that was at the time when they were cutting down all the trees to build more houses. I thought it was kind of funny that they did that. They put up a do not disturb sign on the trees from one of the hotels. You would take good care of me. Maybe you need a black man you can control. You're different. A black, what? You gotta be shitting me. A black man you can actually control? Most black, you gotta be lying right there, because black men do not want to be controlled. They do not want a woman to be president. They don't want women in control of them. They have made that clear, absolutely clear. Black men do not want a woman controlling them. That is one of the biggest fights, I believe, between black men and black women, and black men and white women, is that's been expressed to me from what I've seen. You know, what white men actually are fine. They've kind of had the um, you know, they're willing to compromise, whereas black men want to be in control of things. And you know, and it's like it's a battle. You know, I get the suppression. I get that. Women are suppressed too. I mean, it's in the history that I've seen, and I watched it on C-SPAN. That was one of the best things for me, actually, because I never had cable TV a lot when I was younger. I never watched C-SPAN that much. I did a little bit, and maybe I should have watched it more. Really, I should have watched it more when I was younger. But, you know, I liked watching the thing when Hillary Clinton was the first lady. I watched her hearings and things like that related to trying to get medical, medical and all that stuff. But C-SPAN had some really good stuff on. And in the past 5 years, when I haven't had to have my ex-husband around, I can watch C-SPAN, and then I'm getting this education of things. It's not telling me what I want to hear. It's just telling me the history of things that are true and that we've learned. That's all it's doing. It's talking about the process of both women, you know, from, what is it? They always talk about Dred Scott, where these certain laws went into place at these certain times. So when we mention these things, it's to indicate a period of time. You know, so these certain laws went into place that were supposed to be helpful to men and black people and women at the same time. And really, black men could vote before women could. You guys know that. Black men can vote before women could. So, you know, I mean, so you're full of crap when you say that black people didn't have rights. There's certain things that men could do before women could do. They've even said that in Congress, too. I think I heard Nancy Pelosi say that. Or I don't know if it was her. One of the politicians said black men could vote before women could. You know, so. But you guys want the ultimate control. Nice Guy says, I'm different, superior white goddess. I would let you lead the relationship. Morningstar says, it's not about controlling each other. It's about communicating and mutual respect. Absolutely, I agree with that. You know, where you don't have to yell at each other. You can just have a conversation. Now, granted, I get that people get mad and they yell about things and they lose control. They lose their cool. But I thought as we aged, that became less and less. Because I found that with my first husband. However, our marriage was deteriorating. But, you know, even when we were at a place where we could just tolerate each other, we still didn't shout and scream at each other all the time. We just didn't. We would have a little spat about something. We might raise our voices a little bit, and then it would be over. It wasn't like it went on for hours and hours and hours and hours. I really would let you lead, beautiful. Every black guy is not the same. Lead what? Lead what? Is that if I'm president? Yeah, if I was president, you would have no choice. Oh, it would have been, I always thought it would be fun to be a politician or something. Granted, president is only one thing. I know that. That's a really, really high goal for anybody. And, the thing I want to ask people is to think about is that, when you're telling kids they can be something, if you're telling little boys and girls that they can be something, and you want to say they can be president, that's good. But at the same time, you know, they need to have a reality check of that president is one job and that only one person can do it at a time. So it may not be realistic for everybody to be president because we don't have millions and millions of presidents at the same time. But however, maybe we could think of ourselves as president when we vote. I mean, we are voting for president, and the president is supposed to be our peer, our equal, not a rich man who is a dictator. What is the best thing that you've ever done for anybody? I would be a black slave if you were president. I'd clean the White House for you. I would vote for you a second. Oh, thank you. I think that would be so great to vote for me a second term. The best thing that I've ever done for anybody, I have no idea. I don't think anything I've ever done has been that great or that special. I think I think the best thing I ever did was have my kids. You know, I kind of liked having my kids. Like I liked being a mom. I thought that was fun. And I think most women, maybe not all, but most, um, will tell you the same thing. You know, most will. And then some people, I mean, family planning is a personal decision. But yeah, it would have been kind of fun to be a president. That would be, it's still open. If I could ever go in that direction and be president of the United States, that would have been fun to be the first. Imagine, that's something I've thought about. It's like it still could be. I could be the first woman president ever. I'm in that sweet spot age range where I could be president. I could run for president. And I'm thinking, just running for president, yeah, I go into it because I want to win, but at the same time, I'm going into it knowing that, you know, if I had to deal with something like Donald Trump, um, oh my gosh, and these companies, it's like that wears on people. I kind of think about both Hillary and Kamala Harris now, both as pretty strong women because of the fact that stuff has to wear on you. Even when I think of the first ladies, Michelle Obama, I'd want to completely check out of the internet altogether. I would not want to read about anything at all. Because it's like that stuff wears on you. It just drains you to no end. After being on YouTube for 20 years, that stuff drains you. The internet, when it started out, it was fun. It was lighthearted. But then when money gets involved and the redirection of where things are going, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, these CEOs need to get over their self. They need to get over their self. And celebrities are overrated. I mean, if they're making $1 million, that they're making too much money. Are they okay? Let me read. I got to go back here and read what he's talking about. Let's see. Morningstar says, "Are they doing fine though?" No, no. Things are not better for me. I've been saying this since Trump's first presidency. Things are not better for my kids. No, they're not. They're worse. Their rent has gone up. My daughter's rent has gone higher. And she struggles. She has a husband who is disabled. And things are not better for my kids. No, they're not better for me. Things are worse for me. Now, when I say that, it's like I've tried to talk about this before. I was in a physically abusive marriage. Things are not better for me because of the fact that I'm homeless now. I was made homeless after the divorce was final. I don't know why they let him out of jail, but they did. Things are worse for me. And this comes from Trump's first presidency. Things are worse for me now. And I said even back then things are worse because then when I go to ask for help from my government, there is no help. There's no place for me to go. There's no The apartments went up in price, housing went up in price, and it's like I can't even. The sad part is that I can't even buy a house with the income that I have because they require you to have a job. And so it's like I'm damned and doomed, it seems like. I can't even be paying for a house. It's like, so I'm never supposed to have a place to live? Wall Street is that much more important? No, nobody is better off. I'm not. None of my kids are better off. I don't know about my. It seems like the only person that's better off is my second husband. He got the house, he has a place to live, and he made me homeless. The court system made me homeless. He weaponized. My second husband weaponized the court system against me. Now, inflation was taking place. That means our government weaponized and allows for money to be weaponized against the American public. That means that every time they put out an economic stimulus, the private sector raises the price of housing, food, goods. Donald Trump has weaponized money and tariffs against the American public. All of it's been weaponized right now against the American public. And how they can do that is beyond me, because Congress is going to have to put in some safeguards to prevent this from ever happening again. Because what's going on right now seems like something that could never have been predicted by the founding fathers 250 years ago. So these things came up. These are additional things. A lot of them I would have never thought about. The only people who can fix this is Congress, and they're going to have to do it together and put in safeguards and put in some caps on things, because 250 years ago, I don't think we had Wall Street. I really don't. And so they're going to have to put in some measures against capitalists who are performing really bad practices against the American public. And this is not a liberal thing. This is not a conservative thing. This is an American thing. And even Congress is going to have to put in some measures. They might need to rethink some of their migration policies too. And some of the cryptocurrency things and some of the means of, I can give you an example. Like today there was this woman she was talking about having a giveaway of something. So myself, I can say, okay, I'm giving this information away for free to you in this video. And I'm straight up, I tell you what it is. This is what it is. That's all it is. So you got some free information. So I'll give you an example again. I'm going to go out here, I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'm going to just tell you that when I go here into music, we can get some really great ideas for trends under the music charts of the hit list, pop certified, Latin now, and on everything today's hip hop hits. These are some great ideas to maybe make a video here or there about. And that's it, But some people, they want to go on and on and on, and then they want you to buy into something. And they'll say, well, sign up and pay $4 for this PDF document of information. Well, you're not actually getting a tangible product from that. Now, are you? No, it's not a giveaway. And a lot of times then they're getting your email too. So you are the one giving something away to them. Whereas if I just title a video and I say, okay, I'm giving this away, and I'm not asking for anything from you, I don't feel like I'm violating any trust because I'm not asking you to give me your email or anything like that. I'm just using the word giveaway kind of because it's popular. It's like give and gift or giving of sorts, so I'm not using it in the sense of that I want anything from anyone. But there's other people who've taken it further and they want to extract a lot of things. Nice Guy says, I would vote for you, superior white goddess. Nice Guy says, if you're the president, can I be your black slave, please? I'm never going to be president, though. Morningstar says, would you like to dance with Kamala Harris? No. Me? I don't want to dance with Kamala Harris. Is she going to run for president again? Nice Guy says, I hope you become president one day. You're a beautiful, strong woman. Nice Guy says, I would let you live with me, beautiful. Nice Guy says, I've got money, beautiful. I'm single. Nice Guy says, I hope your life gets better. I pray to Jesus that you find a house. God bless you, beautiful. Morningstar says, can you still work? Well, it depends on what I can. There's work that I can do. But it's not, I can't stand all day long because I have a injury. I have a physical injury. So I can't just stand all day long. I can sit and do work. In that sense, it's not like I can't walk, but I have a problem with bending, because of an injury. It's related to falling. And I believe it might be related to where he hit me on my head. He hit me 2 different times on both sides of my head. So I never got medical help after that. He wouldn't even, when I went to, I had an emergency related to a medical issue. And he was telling them that he didn't want me to get any extra help from them, when they wanted to do a CAT scan. So, I'm capable of doing things. It's like, I'm not fond of, like, 60 hours a week, though. I'm not fond of 40 hours a week. I have no benefits at all. Absolutely nothing. I have no medical. I have no dental. I have nothing. I think I've told you guys this before. I have absolutely nothing. So, no, my life is not better off. My life is a whole lot worse than what it was. I liked being in the house that I was in. I liked having my personal belongings that I had. I just really wanted to check out of society altogether. Because I just wanted to. I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing. I have nothing. I've said this before. I have nothing to look forward to. So when you guys do things wrongful, and they were talking about that, they were, how do you stream? You guys, you always ask the same thing. You guys always ask the same thing. How do you stream? How is it that you stream? Why is it that you should have more than me? Okay, let's tie into welfare. Why should welfare have more than what I have? Why should welfare have medical? Why should welfare moms have medical and food stamps that I can't have? Shouldn't we just take them away? Because the questions that you guys keep asking is you're implying that there's a lot of us who should have nothing. So when we say we're homeless, we are homeless. And so you want us whittled down to absolutely nothing. So where do people who are living in a tent on the street, where do they plug into to juice up their phones? So you're saying they deserve nothing. And this is what I'm hearing from the Hollywood people, it sounds like to me. They're living in those great big fucking goddamn mansions that are like 5,000 square feet. And then they're getting pissed off at people on the internet, calling us trolls, calling us fucking idiots. That's what they're doing to us. That's what they're doing. And then they want us whittled down to nothing. while they're making millions and millions of dollars themselves for their own self, they want us to have nothing. And it's like, oh, well, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? While they're on the internet begging for money, and then they get some of those capitalism people to give them money and donations and things like that. They're working for corporations. They'll get some bank to loan them money and stuff like that because they have a celebrity name. That's how they're doing it. They have a celebrity name already established. That's how the well-connected work. You still have a chance to get yourself a life. Yeah, well, I've had a life my whole life. I don't know what else you want to call it. As this goes on, you're just going to get, and inflation continues, you're just going to get more and more people pissed off at the wealthy and well-connected. That's all that's going to happen. This movement isn't going to go out well for wealthy and well-connected, nor is it going to go well for celebrities at all, because people are pissed off at them. So, I mean, I know there's people who blame baby boomers, but you know what my son told me? He's like, Mom, he says, I was homeless. Now, my son is a military veteran. He's like, I was homeless for a lot of years. And he's like, now you're the one who's homeless. I don't have a plan. And so that's what my son told me. He says, Mom, now you're the one that's homeless, and I don't know what to do. And I said, well, when you were homeless, I didn't know what to do either. I said, but keep in mind, the guy I was married to, he said he didn't want anybody coming to stay with us. So he took my choice away from me to even be able to help my kids. He took that away from me. Where he's like, this is what he said, if your kids are going to come, they have to have a plan that they're looking for jobs. They can't just be staying in the house like they're going to stay forever. Because if someone stays longer than 30 days, then they become a resident. And so he didn't want anybody at all staying because he didn't want them to be a resident. I have no plan. What plan am I supposed to have? How can I plan something out when I'm homeless? When I've been left with nothing? When my civil rights have been violated, because they were talking about that in Congress today to Kash Patel. And so he doesn't know anything about, apparently it sounds like he doesn't know anything about it, or he admitted to, and he said they knew of people who had been not arrested, their civil rights were violated. They were wrongfully arrested, related to varying degrees of things. And the FBI was arresting people they weren't supposed to be arresting. So you get given up on what? What have I given up on? What have I given up on? On what? I haven't given up on myself, as far as that goes. I've given up on anybody else as far as that goes. Nobody else is going to do anything to help me. I thought we had a society that cared about people, but what I hear from Congress and what I hear from corporations is they don't give a flying fuck. They don't give a flying fuck about anybody. That's just what I hear. So when it comes to inflation, and they're letting inflation go unchecked with deregulation, that's a problem right there. Isn't it? That's a problem. And it's just going to keep hurting people more and more and more. Isn't it? So when prices just keep going higher, don't you need a cap on it? It's kind of the same thing. These are the same questions I think when I was in high school. It's like people would ask what I was going to do. I didn't have an answer. I didn't have a plan. I mean, these are the same questions people asked me, and I said, I don't know. I think I'm just going to go to college. I lied to them, because that's kind of what everybody else was saying. So I said, yeah, I think I might go to college, which I knew that was a lie. I really didn't want to go to college. I had no idea what I was going to do. Nothing has changed in my whole adult life. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I can't predict the future. Well, I mean, a job and an apartment. That would be a start. I need something on a ground floor. because of the injuries that I have. A house would be nice. Um, why should some piece of shit man who is abusive to me be awarded a house? That's the question I've asked. Why should a piece of shit ex-husband who is physically abusive to me be awarded the house and I lose all my belongings? Why is that? And that I have to. Did you know that it costs about $70,000 to refurnish everything nowadays? In the year 2025, the cost is about $70,000. So, so if you're left with knowing that rent prices are still supposed to be skyrocketing, why would you want to furnish a place at all if you know that the rent prices are still supposed to be skyrocketing higher? Why would you want to furnish any type of apartment with a lot on the chance that you could get kicked out of it because you can't afford the rent? The only thing that's important is how you get back on your feet. Now, how do you do that? When prices keep going higher, you can't get back on your feet now, can you? Now me, if I literally fall and there's nothing around for me to grab a hold of to get up, I literally can't get up because my injury is that bad. I literally can't get back up. So if there's not something like a bucket or something for me to get a hold of, and the thing that I remember, there was these guys who I was actually just writing on Twitter about how I was having a hard time on Twitter and YouTube, how I was having a hard time getting up. And so what I was saying, if I fall, I'd have a hard time getting up. And the funny part about this was there was these guys who came around the neighborhood, and there was one guy, he was a cable guy, and he was doing some work in the little cable area. He gave me the best idea. I never talked to the man at all, never talked to him. Oh, he did come around though. He said something about he was doing some work. And so he came around and he had a bucket and he was using the bucket to get up. And I'm like, this man just gave me the best idea with the 5-gallon bucket. And I started buying the buckets. They were inexpensive too. And so I was using the buckets for a lot of different things. I had buckets in the backyard in case I fell so I could get back up. So I knew I could at least crawl or drag myself over to the bucket to hoist myself back up if I fell, because I can't get up. So I'm in that situation where I just plain can't get up because I don't have the strength because of an injury from falling. I granted some of it could be age, but it makes me very unstable. And then when I tried to get disability, this was during COVID, and all I got was a big runaround. The only thing yeah, you said that, Morningstar. How you get back up on your feet. How do you do that? So I have 2 of them literally that I can't do, that are challenge. Let's not say I can't do them. It's challenging because I don't see how I'm going to do it. So if you have no income, how do you eat? I think what I had said before is that I have a pension and alimony. But you're right. If you have no income at all, it makes it impossible to eat. And what I have said before is people who don't have, or people who are, I am what's categorized as poverty. Poverty, not eligible for SNAP benefits or welfare. That's the category I'm in. I'm in the same category as a lot of military veterans are. And so what they'll say is that there's certain things that are eligible for military veterans. And a majority of them do not get benefits. They don't get SNAP, and they don't, granted, they get medical. They can go on a military base and get medical. I don't even have medical. I have no dental. And if I need teeth work done, it's expensive as hell. like $500-600. So I have to figure out a way to come up with $500 or $600 to have a tooth pulled. That's expensive. Now, if you expect people to live in your car, in a car, you just as well plan on covering yourself up and dying. Because if it's not acceptable for a dog to be in a car or a baby to be in a car, why would you expect a human being to live in your car? And you're going to rot away inside of the car from heat exhaustion? Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to die. That's what's going to happen. So you're right. When a kid turns 18 years old and their parents decide, I don't want my kid in the house anymore, their kid, you just as well be saying, okay, well, I had this kid, now they're 18, I don't want them in my house anymore. They don't have a job. Well, you just as well plan on saying, okay, I expect my kid to die now. Because they're not eligible for welfare. Now, are they? Someone in the government's going to tell them to go get a job, and this 18-year-old kid just graduated from high school. They don't stand a chance because they're in a town of about 1,500 people, and you would need at least 1,000 jobs. You know, if there's 500 people in the town that are old and disabled and they're kids, you would need at least 1,000 jobs for everybody in that town of 1,000 people. I mean, this country has a problem with math. It has a big problem with math because there's not enough jobs for everyone to be on the payroll of someone else. And so when the Fed puts, not the Fed, the Federal Reserve, not the Fed chair, the Federal Reserve puts money out for the American public, then the fucking private sector raises the price on everything, and they're like, oh, it's a stimulus, it's a payday for us, so the fucktards raise the goddamn rent on people, and they raise the prices. That's where inflation comes from. It's just that simple. The goddamn private sector's doing it. When you got piece of shit companies like Sam's Club who charges you a premium for buying food in the store, they ought to be hung. They ought to be shot and hung. You know, business management like that needs to go out of business, because if they can't stay in fucking business, then they need to go out of business. That's what I think. Yeah, they have a problem with ego and greed. I agree with that. You know, Sam's Club and Costco are the same thing. They're just a dragon. They're just a devil of the same root. You know, because they're charging a premium for you. You know, they're telling you that you save all this money and stuff. You don't. They're basically charging you to shop. How can they get away with charging you to shop? And their products aren't that great. Sam's Club is not that great. I've never been to Costco. Even Whole Foods is very expensive. It's overpriced. And at times, Sam's Club is overpriced too. It should be free. Sam's Club should be free, just like Walmart should be free. They can pass cost savings off to the public. You know, I mean, they're part of the problem with causing inflation. You would think these companies would lobby for the American public for prices to come down, not for prices to go up. But they're greedy. Same thing with the gas companies. They're greedy. I mean, I'm thinking at the rate of inflation with gas, my gosh, do they expect people to be paying $20 for a gallon of gas? I mean, but yet with apartments and housing, Wall Street has this anticipation of, Wall Street and medical, apparently both, have this anticipation that they're supposed to be able to just keep making money. Well, they're not creating jobs. That's the only way they, you know, Elizabeth Warren said it all too well. She said Donald Trump gets his money from other people, from other places. He can't get a loan from anybody. He has to get it from other places, which is Wall Street or foreign countries. That's where he gets his money from. And that's how he builds houses, and then he stiffs people out of money. I mean, that's a bad business leader. He is actually, that's a criminal, if you ask me. Morningstar says, think about if they wanted to solve a problem. They could. Yeah, absolutely they could. Am I mad at who? Who would I be mad at? So, so it's for calling you superior. No, it's superior white goddess. It just sounds ridiculous. But you can say it if you want to. That's fine. Superior white goddess. Well, why would you call me superior white goddess when I'm homeless? That makes no sense to me. Because most of the time, the only reason a man wants anything to do with a woman when she's homeless is to exploit her further. What are you talking about with the hoot owl? Hoo, hoot owl. Because blacks were slaves and I respect white women. Okay. Um, like, do you have an ulterior motive or something? You're trying to get into politics or something and you want to appear more acceptable to the white man? Is that why you're doing it? Because that you're just describing the same thing that my second ex-husband did, and he told me literally that black men appear more appealing to the white man when they're married to a white woman. He told me that literally. And he told that to me directly after we were together though. So I didn't quite understand or think that I was some kind of pawn in his chess match that he was playing with being a in his climb to with his job and stuff like that. He didn't actually tell me either that with his first job that he was potentially being fired for what would be considered sexual harassment. I think, or him having a sexual relationship with a woman he was working with. And I think it might have turned into sexual harassment because of the fact that he was involved with a coworker for 12 years. Now, he told me he was involved with her when I first met him and he said it was over. So here I am thinking that maybe it was just a short-term thing, maybe a year or something like that. So I didn't think anything of it. He was talking about her all the time, though. He was talking about her all the time. I didn't think anything of it. And the more he talked about her, eventually, so he was having his birthday that was coming around too, and he had a vacation with someone else that he knew. Um, and and so I asked him eventually, I said, "Are you in love with this woman?" And he's like, "No, she smokes and drinks too much." And I said, "Well, why do you go to her then?" He's like, "Well, any old porthole will do in a storm. Her and I are best buds, and we just got to know each other at work, and we really identified well together. We were both hired about the same time because of affirmative action. She's a white woman, and I'm a black man." And so they benefited from affirmative action, and that's how they got together. And he says, and her parents were telling her that she should be doing a woman's job, not working in a man's job in a manufacturing company. This is what he was telling me. Okay, white women owned black slaves. They were nice to black men. I've never heard, I'm not going to deny you that, but I've never heard of it. I've never heard of white women owning black. White women did not own anything back then. Men owned everything. If a woman owned something back then, how in the heck did that happen? Back in during the Confederate days, a woman owning something? I don't think so. Nice guy says, I'm not your ex-husband, superior white goddess. So I really just don't think a woman owned anything back then. You're not less valuable because you're of being homeless. I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. Um, I don't think anybody should be homeless, you know? I mean, because the thing is, oh, let me tell you this too. My granddaughters are homeless too, because they have got to be well, ever since COVID, they've not had a place to live. They can't get jobs. So my granddaughters lack the means to be able to. And you know, when I think about this, I'm going to share something with you guys. So some of you it might resonate with you. So right before COVID, the United States military raised the age limit for family dependents to stay on their dad's, what is it still Deers and Champfa? I don't know. I've not been around enough to know. I could look it up and see, but I'm not positive that I'm going to get the right information. But they changed it so that the family members could stay on their dad's insurance plan until they're the age of 26. And so my granddaughters had been on their dad's plan, living with my daughter, who is their mom. Now they're divorced. And so they otherwise they'd have no insurance. My granddaughters would have no insurance. So look up Beautiful White Woman Had a Black Slave. I will look that up. Kurt Nielsen, My Street. That's a name of a... That's funny. That name is familiar. Because Nielsen, like Nielsen rating, but Kurt Nielsen. I gotta look that up. White woman owns a black slave. White woman owns a black slave. Let's see what that is. Historically, it was common for white women in the American South and other slave-holding societies to own black people as enslaved property. This fact, while often overlooked as an older scholarship, is now a recognized and well-documented aspect of American slavery. White women's role in the institution of slavery, contrary to the historical myth of passive womanhood, white women were active and economically invested participants in the slave system. Active managers and investors, as historians like Stephanie E. Jones Rogers have documented, white women managed slave operations, bought and sold enslaved people for profit, and actively defended their right to own human property. Brutal violence. Narratives from formerly enslaved people confirmed that some white women were as brutal in their treatment of enslaved individuals as white men. Martha Washington, a prominent first lady. Martha Washington brought enslaved people to her marriage with George Washington. She inherited a widow's third of her husband's estate, which included hundreds of enslaved people. After George Washington freed his enslaved people, in his will, Martha, who owned some enslaved people separately, kept some in bondage and willed them to her grandchildren. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, I hope you understand why I want to be your... I don't want a black slave. Might be your new favorite song. I told you, beautiful, I would be your black slave. Okay. I don't want a black slave. I really don't. That's not something I'm interested in. I'm not interested in slavery or slaves. So, let's look here. Examples of female slave owners. Now, Martha Washington was one. Julia Dent Grant. Delphine LaLaurie. The wife of President Ulysses S. Grant grew up with enslaved people and was informally given 4 enslaved people by her father. 4? A lot of them turned them free, though, too, didn't they? Are we telling the full story that they were turned free? Because I remember reading that a lot of them turned them free. So you have to tell the full story. A wealthy New Orleans socialite, LaLaurie became infamous for torturing and murdering enslaved people. Oh my, what a horrible woman. What a horrible, oh my God. Murdering enslaved people in the early 1830s. When authorities discovered a series of horrific abuses, a mob descended on her mansion and she fled the city. Oh my goodness. I had no idea about that. Sally Hemings, Thomas Jefferson's Monticello. Many white women were Southern. Oh, many white women were Southern slaves? Is that what? Were Southern slave owners. Okay, so it only told part of the story. So I mean, this is not my fault though. I wasn't part of this. I mean, I wasn't alive back then. So, uh, how about we look up black men? Isn't it more common? Like, I remember Angela. What was that show with Angela and Marcus? And she set his car on fire because he was cheating. You guys remember that show? Angela and Marcus. And now I can see a black woman setting some things on fire. I really can. And black women will set some things on fire. They will tear up clothes. They will throw clothes away. They will cut up clothes. If you remember the movie, what was it? Tyler Perry, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. And when they were getting divorced and he brought in the chainsaw and he was cutting everything in half. So I'm not going to look up any more of this information because there's too much disinformation out there right now. And it sounds so ridiculously nonsense that, it just sounds different from anything I've ever heard. No, you have a right to write your nonsense. I mean, whatever. I guess we just have to get used to it. You're writing some nonsense from your side of what you think and what you want to tell yourself of what you think things happen. The thing I discovered is that people in Africa enslaved their own people. People from the United States, Europe, London. They bought slaves and then they brought them to the United States. I don't know if they sold them or traded them or what. So then the same practices happened in the United States. It was happening around the whole world. It was happening around the whole world. White people were enslaved too. I mean, look at the Titanic. The Titanic was actually a slave ship. And that's how Rose described it. I know it's a fake story. But she called it a slave ship. So how come it's just black people that were enslaved? I just don't believe totally that it was black people enslaved. So, I mean, we have a difference of opinion on that. I think things that are more important is tackling tougher issues right now instead of being distracted. And the tougher issues are that of inflation in the United States, then nobody has to be enslaved. Now, Donald Trump keeps talking about the golden age. Well, what is the golden age supposed to be? And I'd been hearing little inklings of that. And at one time I was thinking, my gosh, things are going great for us on YouTube and we're making this money. And I'm thinking, I like this. If this is the golden age and I'm going to keep earning revenue and stuff like that, this sounds great. But, and this is a big but, a very, very big but. The big but is the problem because it's leaving people behind. And that's the thing that I can't get over, is my kids being left behind. So, that's why I had to leave a lot of things behind with YouTube on my first channel, was because I can't leave my kids behind. I can say the hell with, I'm not even that pissed at my first husband, really. It's like I feel like the past 4 years with all this stuff that's happened, I felt like I wanted to talk to him. I really don't anymore. But at one time, I just wanted to talk to him because he was familiar. I knew he was married, but he told my son, what he said was, he told my son, he says, well, I'll think about it over the weekend and then decide, and then you can, my son told me, he says, I can talk to my son and tell him what I have to say. And so it's basically like he really doesn't care, you know. So he never wanted to understand. Oh, you would vote for me if I became president, you know. Yeah. Well, it all sounds good, but um, it's not something I ever thought about when I was a kid. It would be kind of fun though. It really would be kind of fun to be president, but I know that's a high goal. Um, I would take something even more modest, another role in public service, doing something, uh, I don't know what. I mean, what I'm doing right now isn't working. And you're right, I'm not of any less value than anyone else just because I can't find an income. It's like I never felt like, how do you know I'm crying? Um, but that's the thing I can't stomach is people being left behind. And when I think of it as my own kids, that's where I'm at every time. I was at this place when I deleted my original, oh my God, in 2015. That's the place I was at when I was at Burnout, when I was at the Burnout in 2015. And then I was seeing, things are good for me. They were good at that time. I didn't know they were about to get worse. I didn't know they were going to get worse. But then I started thinking about what my husband was telling me every day. He was telling me every day he was saying, he says, I'm never going to have to buy another car again. I've got 3 vehicles. I'm never going to have to buy another car again. I'm never going to have to buy another car again. And so he's just rubbing it in my face that the car and the property and everything is in his name. And he's going on, I can't wait until I get my retirement. I can't wait till this house is paid off. And I'm giving him all this money from my original YouTube channel paying for the house. And sometimes it was a lot of money too. And I was thinking, what in the world is he doing with this money? Well, he's paying himself. So what happened to me is no different than what happens to celebrities. I have a very similar, even though I didn't make as much money as what celebrities make, very similar story. Very similar. I would hope what happened to me is scary for people to think about, because for me, I never thought in a million years he would do something like that to me. He professed to care about me. He only cared about himself. That's all he cared about was himself. And he always positioned himself to have a white woman in his life. He wanted to have a white woman for that reason. So he appealed more to the white man. Because he was a black man. That's the truth that I have to live with, and Donald Trump is going to bring back slavery. I heard the other day. Someone on TV said that Donald Trump wanted to challenge the marriage between black people and white people, or minorities and white people. I heard he was going to challenge that. Actually, you know what they said, he was going to throw it back to the states. And it was funny because I had said something like that, because I went up and I looked through the law library at my local city, and I was looking through their books. And I'm not sure, but I think that was one of the things that came up. I was just randomly looking through the law library one day and all their books they had up there, and it was fascinating to look through them. It's all in tiny print. They have hundreds of books in there. And I'm looking through it and I'm thinking, okay, this is old state law. But at the same time, it's old state law and old federal law. And now these are things that are old and outdated. But I was thinking, look at all the rhetoric that could be used in modern times When someone goes into an old law library and looks through it and decides, okay, let's talk about this, and we're going to distract the hell out of the whole country with a bunch of garbage that's outdated. And that's what they're doing with this right now. So when we talk about that Donald Trump is going to distract the country and say that he's going to bring back slavery and he's going to make sure that white people and black people can't, or minorities and majorities can't be married anymore. Um, so Nice Guy says, I just respect you so much, Superior One. I hope you become president one day. Oh, I hope you become president. You would vote for me. Donald Trump is going to bring back slavery, Superior White Goddess. I see it happening in 2 years. Don't cry, beautiful. You're a special woman. If you're president, let me be your black slave in the White House. You are an awesome woman. I wish I could give you a hug, beautiful. Don't cry, my queen. I enjoy talking to you, beautiful. I'm sorry you went through that. Oh my goodness. Now I have a feeling that I don't know. It may not be in the cards for me to be president. I'm just trying to figure out how I would sue the FBI for what happened. So if I was part of what they were talking about, how the FBI was detaining people illegally based on freedom of speech. And so look at how the FBI, what's his face, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, they both got settlements. It's like, well, how does an individual person actually sue the FBI? Or not, yeah, the FBI or the government for um, wrongful detention. Because they're admitting that they've wrongfully detained American citizens. I think a lot of them are YouTubers. I really do. I think a lot of YouTubers have actually been wrongfully detained over freedom of speech things. And I think that has to do with because the FBI and the government doesn't understand what we do on YouTube, and it's just a different realm. And we've done things that's based off of freedom of speech. And so they look at it differently, and they're violating people's civil rights. It's like when you take away someone's property, their personal property, that's violating someone's job. That's violating their civil rights. And then you just keep their property? I mean, so I hear I hear about this all the time on TV, where they're talking about, oh well, a hacker can come and just take your house and your property. And so there's all these people who are putting out this garbage rhetoric and saying that if you go and you have the property tax thing. Now, it's funny because a mayor is going to say, he says, well, we can't just take someone's property. It doesn't matter how much back taxes they owe. We can't just take it. Now, someone else says they can just buy a house by paying off the taxes and they own the house. That's not true. Like, why would anybody buy a house if they think that someone else can just pay off the taxes and then they own the house? I think that's fucked up. If that's true, that needs to be changed. No one else should be able to just go in and pay the taxes on a house. And then the only thing I could think with that is if it's related to the loan or something like that. I wish I could meet you, beautiful. Can I give you my number? I know that you don't know me. Farhan Mustafa Ansari Protectors is here again. No, I'm not going to call anybody. I'm just not going to call anybody. Stars don't come to Earth at solid state. Stars don't come to Earth at solid state. Oh, they're a gas. Yeah, you're right. Gas. Triple, no, five H's, 5H. The only thing that this is the thing that I've said. I've always said, and maybe this is racist. The thing that I've said is that the NAACP would have done better off if they would have fought against inflation. And then they're going to get to the root of why they feel like they're enslaved. Am I wrong to think that way? If the NAACP and the ACLU would actually fight for things here in America that help Americans and fight against inflation, I think that they would serve a better purpose than what they're doing related to tearing apart American people, pitting people against people. Don't you guys think so, or am I wrong? Um, and then, but then not only that. Now I'm trying to think. AARP. They're strange as well a little bit. Now they do talk about old people issues a lot, and so what they're doing is telling people where they might be able to get discounts and help. I kind of really miss the AARP phone calls. I would have to pay to get the if I was to get AARP, but they were coming to the house where I was living at before I was made to leave, and he got the house, and so I had a phone number, and I was getting AARP phone calls, and I was getting to sit in on these conferences and stuff and listen to all that, and it was really, really interesting. And I'd turn the calls on, and they'd just be talking, and so they would have the thing that if you wanted to join in the phone conference, that you would press like a star and something, and then you'd be put in the queue. And well, it's just a thought, and I'm trying not to be racist. I don't feel like I've ever been racist. I don't think, oh, you don't think there should be a Black History Month? I don't think so, there should be either. I would, it's like, um, I don't see anything wrong with Black history at all, period. But I always thought it was American history. I mean, I always thought that. And the thing is, right now, you've got not you, we have Barack Obama. He's going to be forever inside of a history book as a black president. Stacey Abrams is going to be in a history book as a legislator and an activist. She might have a future with something. I don't know. Kamala Harris, vice president, is going to be in the history books as a black activist and the first woman vice president. At least we broke ground with that. I mean, we broke ground with that. I was just kind of disappointed that Oprah Winfrey went in the direction she did. Um, I would like Black History Month to be gone too. Um, I, I I get the feeling or inkling from some black folks that they want it gone as well. Yeah, American history. I agree. It's all American history, and it always has been. I think that after this past 8 years, that a lot of us probably agree on that because we don't have white history, and I don't think we should. I don't know what that would be. White history would be American history, and I see no reason for that. Let me ask you this. So if we're going to keep going down this path, do you want to have you've already had that Pride Month history. Do you want to keep on with that? Do you guys want to keep on with that? I don't think you do. I really don't. The pride thing, that thing, it doesn't make me uncomfortable to talk about it at all because I've always talked about it. Now my second husband, he made me feel uncomfortable to talk about. I love the Confederate flag with a passion. I love the Confederate flag, and I'll tell you know why? You don't think, you know what? Wasn't there a lot of black men who were Confederate soldiers? Do you think there was black men who were not Confederate soldiers? The Confederate flag, if we erase the Confederate War, we're erasing half of a war. We're erasing half of the history of our country. We are erasing the DNA of brothers and sisters fighting against brothers and sisters. Aren't we doing that? We have fought against part of our history. Let me look and see. I probably am going to have a hard time doing this, but I want to see if I can find and you know, not only that, you're erasing the history of my grandkid, any kid who's mixed, who has a white parent and a black parent, you know, the ones that we call the extremes, the extreme colors, you know, the extreme white and the extreme black. You're erasing their history because they're caught in the middle. Who are we? So you want to send all white people back to Europe and all black people back to Africa? Is that what you want to do? Well, yeah, we can do that. Let's send all, we'll send all European, we'll send all Caucasians and white people back to Europe, and we'll send all black people back to Africa. Is that what you want to do? I mean, I don't think that's going to work very well, but we can say it, that it sounds so ridiculous that we'll say it and it sounds ridiculous. But it would sound better if Trump said it, though, don't you think? If Trump says it, Trump is on a self-extermination mission related to his policies. Trump is on a policy. Trump is on a Trumpism self-extermination mission with his policy. That's the only thing I can think. No, only the Jewish ones. But you can't look at a person and tell who is Jewish. The Jewish thing has gotten out of hand. Jewish is religion. And Hitler wanted to get rid of the religious people. You know, and it's like, you can't look at a person and tell who is Jewish. That's the same thing as trying to look at a person and say, oh, that person is from Africa. Judar. Oh, that's funny. I have not heard of that. I've heard of Gaydar, but not Judar. The Confederate flag should be flying in every city. Superior white goddess. You agree? The Confederate flag is just something that flag was not even around back then. That's something that's just done in more modern times. The people in the South actually, to me, it kind of seems like the people in the South actually decided to use a symbol on a flag, and then it got out of hand. And then when it gets out of hand, then they switch to something else. And I know there's a certain state that has actually had the Confederate flag on part of the state flag, and then they switch it to something else, and then they go back to it with the Confederate flag on it. So they're notorious for switching back and forth. But I guess the thing I think about in historical education is, it seems to me that maybe they just come up with, some of the people in our government, they come up with something that looks nice, and they decide, okay, let's come up with a flag that represents this certain era in time. Back then, what I heard is they didn't even have a flag. There was no such thing as a Confederate flag, and it just came from someplace else. So, you know, so for me, it's like, okay, we're erasing partial American history, and, oh, I know what I was going to look up. I wanted to look up here, were there black men who were Confederate soldiers. Were there black men who were considered? Yes, a very small number of black men served as Confederate soldiers in the final days of the Civil War after the Confederate Congress passed a law in March of 1865 allowing their enlistment on an experimental basis as combat troops, although they were primarily excluded from such roles for the duration of the war, instead serving in a support role as laborers, cooks, and teamsters. These formal combat units were formed in the final weeks of war and saw limited service. Black roles of men in the Confederacy. Do you want to get rid of? I mean, if you get rid of the Confederate history altogether, you're erasing black history too. Did you think about that? You're actually erasing black history if you get rid of the Confederacy altogether. I mean, so people say, okay, the Union won. Okay, so they won. The Confederate flag, or what people saw as the Confederate flag, is just a symbol. There was no flag back then at all. It's just something that the Dukes of Hazzard used on their TV show. That's how I always saw it, and I liked the flag. I liked that flag. Formal enlistment. Black musicians were formally enlisted in 1862 and received pay, but they were not armed. I'm thinking, my gosh, they've done this in the United States military too. They've enlisted people into the military just to be musicians. And it's like, okay, if you can join the military and you get paid just to be a musician, and you don't have to go to war, it's like, and you call that discrimination? You want to go to war and die? Or you want to be a musician and not die? I'm thinking either way you're getting paid. I don't know. I mean, involuntary service. Many black men were compelled to serve through involuntary impressment with no choice in the matter, which that would probably be the civilian people who ended up getting involved with things because someone was harassing them probably, or they had to defend something that was of their private property, I suppose. Promises of freedom. Some black men were motivated by the possibility of freedom, though this was a controversial and debated topic within the Confederacy itself. Choice. A small number of free black men chose to volunteer to serve in Confederate units, though the reasons for their decisions were not fully understood and are not recorded in detail per YouTube user interviews. Black Confederate Truth and Legend. So technically, if you erase the Confederate altogether, you erase everything in the South. Do you want to do that? Do you want to get rid of that history? Because you're getting rid of an ugly truth about the Confederate War altogether. So then basically you have this sugar-coated, okay, the South was just all what? Unicorns and puppies? Unicorns and puppies, and everything was all la la land. Unicorns, puppies, and rainbows in the South. That's what you have basically then. Is that what you want? I love the Confederate flag. It's a cool flag. I love the colors. Well, you know what? Let me ask you this. Okay, let me ask you this. This is something I don't see much of. Okay, so black folks love using the N-word. I know they do. And so they own the N-word. Well, how come black folks have not tried to own the Confederate flag in the same way? I've never seen a black guy wearing a Confederate flag coat. It's like, is the flag going to bite you or something? I mean, I like the Confederate flag myself. It's just, it's red, white, and blue. It's got stars on it. It's red, white, and blue. It's just a piece of fabric. I mean, in the states that have had the Confederate flag as part of the flag, why not bring it back? It's like, it's facing a demon, isn't it? It's facing a demon, and what's going to happen? Nothing, because you have the same rights as everybody else has, don't you? I'm pretty sure that black folks have the same rights as everybody else does. It's just sometimes we need to remind ourselves. That's the same thing with women too. We just need to remind ourselves that we do have the same rights as everybody else. It's just challenging. The one that's hardest right now is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness related to living in a place because we have inflation. And our fight right now is against the Confederate, the Confederate, it's against the corporations, the Confederate corporations. That's what we're fighting against right now. Yes, that might have been a Freudian slip, but it was a truthful Freudian slip. The Confederate corporations, they're who we're fighting against right now. So we have no union. I've said this before. This is something new to even to myself. We have no union to say bring prices down. Make things affordable for America again. Make America affordable again. MAAF, make America affordable again. What is that? MAF? Make America affordable again. So where's the union to bring prices down? And Joe Biden had the Inflation Reduction Act. Bring prices down. Now I'm not part of any political party. I don't believe in them. I believe in the American public as freedom of choice to believe in things that that benefit all of us. And I think that's been missing for a very long time because the parties become monopolies. Even like the NAACP, it could easily become a monopoly, or the ACLU could become a monopoly. Any of these activism groups could become a monopoly. And so do things that help people. Bring prices down. I want a union to bring prices down, bring housing down. I think a house should only be $3,000. A brand new 2,500 square foot house should only be $3,000. I think a car should only be $1,000. A brand new 2025 car should only be $1,000. Think about how much money we would have if all we had to pay for rent was like maybe $15 a month. We would be rich. We literally would be rich. And we wouldn't have to be going after $1 million. All of us would be rich. Now, wouldn't we? That's not devaluing the dollar. Now, for corporations, it makes it harder for them. It makes it harder for them to launder money because of the fact now they price their houses a lot higher because they can launder money faster. So if they have a house that's sitting vacant, they have property that's sitting vacant, they can launder money through that house. It just sits vacant. Someone might come in and clean it every now and again. They'll get some migrant from south of the border. They'll bring them up here into America to clean the house. They don't know English. They don't know what's going on. So they're not going to tell them that they're laundering money. That's kind of like the Alex Murdaugh thing that went on up there in South Carolina. I think he was laundering money. He was cooking the books and that he got in trouble for that. So I think there's a lot of money laundering that's going on through the housing. They always said Miami was built on drug money. It was also built on money laundering too. Okay, let's see what this says. I would wear a Confederate flag jacket, superior white goddess. My white friends say say the N word, and I'm cool with it. I agree with you. Your white friends say that. I would not say the N word. It's not that important to me. It's just really not. The N word is not that important for me to say. Um, in fact, if I remember correctly, Reverend Al Sharpton buried the N word. You know what? That might be a fun drawing to make for Halloween, is burying the letters of the alphabet. And we can bury the N word. We can put it in a grave and bury the N word. We can bury the letter N. Okay, here, let's see. My white girlfriend had a Confederate flag in the house. She was Polish, and she called me the N-word when she got mad. I was cool with it. Her name was Stephanie. I actually used to have a Confederate flag my own self. I don't have it anymore. and I was getting ready to put my Confederate flag in the front yard. And then I had to leave. I'll bury my N word in fish word. Fish. N word. Fish word. Nish word. The N word. I'm ready. I'm ready. What? Okay, Gennaro Hernandez says, I'm ready. N word that. That pussy. He wants to bury his big protruding rod in that pussy. He, I can see him just pounding away on a pussycat. What's up, pussycat? Meow, meow, meow. What's up, pussycat? Meow, meow, meow. Oh my gosh, we can't even depict that. Chat GPT. If I told Chat GPT I wanted what he just talked about, his protruding rod on a pussycat, Chat GPT is going to say, I can't do that. That's not something I can make. Now, for other people, they have a different type of platform and it makes stuff for them. But for me, I can't make that stuff for some reason. I must be on a child platform, I'm thinking, or semi-child, semi-censored somewhat. But the thing is, I've always said, I like to try to keep it above the fold, but with adult stuff. Now, my YouTube channel even has a strange thing I found yesterday. It said, my videos are suitable for children, or it says it is suitable for children, which they are, but it also has a thing that says they're not suitable for children. So it's like it can't make up its mind. He'll bury the N word in the fish word. What's the fish word? Oh, are you talking about, oh no, what is this? Something down there smells like fish. When's the last time you used a sink? Ooh, your coochie stink. But I don't know what to tell you, but I don't want to smell you. You smell so... Oh, what? How did that go? Won't you wash the coochie, honey, with ivory? Oh, there's a song on YouTube. Let me see if I can find... Let me see if... My girlfriend always called me the N-word. She was always angry at me. Well, why did she call you the N-word? No word? She called you the N-word? Do you know how many N-words we have? Like, is that why you're the nice guy? You're the nice guy N-word? N-word? Is it inward? Like I-N-W-O, inward or outward? The N-word and outward? N-word sounds like I-N-W-O-R-D. Inward. Inward and outward. What's up, pussycat? Meow, meow, meow. What's up, pussycat? Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. What's up, pussycat? Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. You guys need some cat sound effects? Oh, let me find this one. I think I can play a little bit of it. Let me see if I can. Oh, this guy, my young boyfriend is back on. I shouldn't tell you guys. He is so cute. The Euro and travel, and he's he's as cute as a button. He is just as cute as a button as all get out. I think he said he's about 24 years old. Oh my gosh, if I was young, I would want him to be my boyfriend. What? Let me see if I can find this song. Wash the coochie, honey. Wash the coochie, honey. Let's see if this is it. Let's see if this song will play. Yeah, this might be it. I'll play a little bit of it here. Oh.
Let's see if this is it.
Let's see if the song will play. Yeah, this might be it. I'll play a little bit of it here.
I hate to tell you,
Oh,
but I don't want to smell his name. Oh, Miss Thing, you smell
so funky. Won't you wash the coochie, honey?
Wash the coochie,
Honey, wash the coochie, honey, with ivory. Wash the coochie, honey, with ivory. Okay, let's see if we can't find another one.
Oh no, what is this? Something down here smells like fish. When's the last time you used the sink? Your booty stinks. I hate to tell you. I don't want to smell you. Oh, Miss Thing, you smell so funny. Won't you wash the coochie, honey? Wash the coochie, honey. Ivory.
Wash the coochie, honey, with ivory.
You smell so funny. Won't you wash
the coochie, honey? Won't you wash the coochie, honey? Just don't wash it with honey.
FDS, honey, like the stinky smell.
Just don't wash it with honey. No, don't use honey and mustard on the coochie because that won't work very well. You don't want to wash the coochie honey with some... No, you don't want to do that with honey and mustard. That I don't think that'll work out very well, and I wouldn't advise that. Wait a second. I shouldn't have left my game up. Let's leave. Okay, let me see here. Oh my goodness sakes. I'm not going to read all of that, but I'm going to leave it up there. Because you have a right to write what you want to write. My white girlfriend. Okay, I already read that one. My girlfriend always called me the N-word when she was angry at me. They sell Confederate flag bikinis. Would you wear one, superior white goddess? No, I would not wear a bikini. Well, wait a minute. I might. On the outside of my clothes. It's not something I'm going to wear in a swimming pool, though. She called me the superior white goddess. I was okay with that. Okay. I'm glad you're okay with that. Don't you think it would be funnier, though, for a black woman to be wearing a Confederate flag bikini? Now my daughter, I've had this discussion with her before, and we've had she called it something else. I can't remember what exactly she called it. So she's of the understanding related to, addressing words that are hard for people, labels and things like that, labeling. And, saying it over and over again till you take the sting out of it and things like that. And so she said she's done some of that. And, but she has told me herself, she says that she's told my granddaughters that they can decide if they want to be black or white, what they choose. They have no choice. So basically, when my granddaughters go to apply for a job, they have two choices they can choose. They can decide to be whatever one they want to be because they have one white parent and they have one black parent. Otherwise, they don't have a choice. They can't just pick brown. They can't pick gray because those aren't options on a job application when you have to put that you're black or white. And so my daughter has told my granddaughters they can pick white or black, whatever color they want to pick. And so, otherwise, they have no other. Now, do Asian people actually, they don't have a choice to pick yellow. I was always told that Asian people are yellow. They don't look yellow to me, but I was kind of told that, and so it's kind of strange. And sometimes I've looked yellow my own self when I'm staring at the computer screen all day long, and I strain my eyes sometimes. Then I start seeing things in yellow because I've been staring at the blue screen all day long. You're funny, superior white goddess. I am not a white goddess. I'm not a white goddess. You ever tried eating corn the long way? No. You mean the long way? No. Like corn candy? Or you're talking about like a cob of corn? That is... No. No. I don't know why I would want to do that. That's not something I'm going to do. So I would wear a Confederate flag outfit and walk around with you. Yeah, I would wear a Confederate flag outfit my own self. I tried to find one on Amazon. I wanted to get a Confederate flag t-shirt, but I couldn't find one. I wanted it to be that nice nylon type of stuff. I couldn't find one. But then I started thinking, do I want to do that? Because, there's so many people who have problems with the Confederate flag, and it's like, is it that important right now? And I thought, no, it's really not that important. Even though I liked my Confederate flag. Now, I'll tell you something. When I was at a military base in the middle of Kentucky, they had up two flags. One of them was a Confederate flag on the main road, and another one was a missing in action POW flag. Those were the two flags they had up on a military base in military housing. So where do you think I get this from? I get it from the United States federal government. So where do you think my influencing comes from? The United States federal government. We did a lot of things together, and I never questioned the Confederate flag. I thought it was pretty, and we liked it. Black people didn't care that it was hanging up there. White people didn't care that it was hanging up there. Asian people didn't care that it was hanging up there. The Schwann's man who delivered our ice cream to us, he didn't care that it was hanging up there. He delivered to all of us. The Schwann's man, he delivered ice cream to all of us. He delivered our crack to us. And he might have left a few babies along the way, too. So, if you think your baby looks like the Schwann's man there, Soldier Jody, he might. Your baby, he probably does look like Schwann's man's baby. Why don't black people go on cruises? Because they aren't falling for that again. What do you mean they don't go on cruises? They do. They go on cruises all the time. Legalize dreamfish, Colorado River toad, cane toad, yopo, vilca, iboga, erythroxylon, cocoa, peyote, San Pedro, kratom, ayahuasca vines, cannabis, hemp, magic mushroom, salvia, all holy medicine. My teenage Korean friend died yesterday, so young. So his name was So Young, like So Young, Soyung, Dak Dog. Well, I'm sorry to hear that your Korean friend passed away. I know that's got to be hard. And nothing I can say is going to bring your friend back. And, the thing you have is some memories with your Korean friend. And you'll have time to grieve and process everything that's taken place. It takes time. And when I say that you have memories, you do have memories. But right now, words just are not helpful, probably. After sex, what? Okay. Oh my goodness sakes. After sex last night, my girlfriend said, "You're easily the biggest I've ever had." Apparently, ditto wasn't the correct response. You love racist white women. After sex, yeah, sex is you reminded me of something else. Yeah. Sex apparently is a good deterrent for a lot of emotional issues. You know, if you have emotional issues such as PTSD or something, especially for men, I think sex is going to be right on target. Probably. It's a temporary thing that takes away the pain, I suppose, of things you're dealing with. And that's where we get into the mental illness addiction part of addiction, I think. I think that's where that comes in at. 600 plant life. Dak Dog 320. I need to give you guys shout outs here. Nice Guy is still with us. Dak Dog 320. My wife gave. Oh, jeez. Do I dare read this? Yes. My wife gave me a hand job the other day using Vaseline. I came 3 times trying to wash that shit off. That's funny. That is funny. Oh my goodness. Did you use soap or did you just like you were just using your hand trying to get it off or um you came 3 times trying to wash it off. Um oh goodness. You can look up a racist joke. You want me to look up a racist joke? I should tell you about the woman though last year when I was on TikTok and she was going through the Disney theme park and it sounded to me like well she was saying that they were living at Disney or something or they were living close by or something and they kept going into the Disney park like once a week and that was their job I guess going into the park once a week and so she was telling me that her and her husband were there that time without any kids and so she was talking to the camera and she was telling us that she actually, in the dark parts of the park, when they were inside of the dark parts waiting to go into one of the rides, she said she stuck her hand down her husband's pants and gave him a handy. And so we were also all there on TikTok listening to her tell us about how she's inside of a Disney park giving her husband a handy. You're not racist, you have a colored TV. Yes, please look up a racist joke, superior white goddess. Okay, let me see if I can find a racist joke. Should I see if I can get Chat GPT to tell me a racist joke? Let's see if Chat GPT will tell me tell me a racist joke. I won't. Chat GPT says I won't share racist jokes. They're harmful, offensive, and perpetuate stereotypes. Why don't skeletons ever fight each other? Because they don't have the guts. What's orange and sounds like a parrot? A carrot. What did the scarecrow win in an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Do you want me to pull together some edgier humor that is still clean and not racist? Well, if Chat GPT won't tell you a racist joke, I don't think I should be telling you a racist joke. But let me go over here and see if I can find something. Because I'm sure this is the internet and I'm sure we can find something. I'm not going to be a politician anyway. Racist jokes. Let's see here. Racist. There's a knock knock joke. AI overview. This generation of racist jokes is harmful and promotes prejudice. This request cannot be fulfilled. So Google is not allowing me to look for Google is just plain outright not allowing me to look for racist jokes. It says they rely on stereotypes. Racist jokes perpetuate harmful and oversimplified ideas about ethnic and racial groups. They cause real harm. So it's saying they're not going to. This is dirty and tasteless ethnic jokes. So there's a website that has some things down here. Let's see. This one may not be. Let's see if this one is bad. Let's read through it. I don't know if it's bad or not. I'm going to read through it and see what it says. So I'm the messenger. Don't kill me for reading something that might not be quite right. It is. At first I thought it is. It's on a college website. It's on the University of Central Florida. This is where this is at. Florida Philosophical Review. Dirty jokes, tasteless jokes, ethnic jokes, and it's on a college website from Florida. Let's read through this and see what we get. Okay, I had to take a drink of water. 2 men are knocking back beers in a bar on the 19th floor of the Empire State Building. You know there's a slipstream around the 70th floor. One opening a window, and if you jump out here, it'll suck you back in the 50th floor. Oh, come on, says the second, more than a little drunk. No, really, says the first. I'll show you. So he jumps out the window, comes in through the 50th floor window, takes the elevator up, and appears triumphantly back at the bar. Hey, I'm going to do that, says the second guy. He jumps out the window, falls 90 floors, and is killed instantly. Hey, said the bartender, looking hard at the first man. Can you be a real bastard when you're drunk, Superman? Oh, you can be a real bastard when you're drunk, Superman. Okay, that's not really a racist joke, is it? What's black and white and red all over? A crushed nun. What's the black stuff between an elephant toes? Slow natives. Oh my. We could say, what's the red stuff between elephant toes? Slow natos. You get it? Slow tomatoes. A slow nato. Slow nato. Oh, slow natos. Oh. Oh. Now military might like that one. What is red? What is the red stuff between elephant toes? It's slow natos. Slow natos. Do you guys get it? That's a good one. Yay, me. Go me. I made a funny joke about NATO. And I know the military likes making fun of NATO for some reason. I should write that down because... I should write that down. What's the red stuff between elephant toes? Slow natos. What is the... It could probably be considered racist a little bit. Is NATO racist? I don't know. NATO is like America, and there's a lot of NATO countries. What's red? What's the red stuff between elephant toes? What is the red stuff between elephant toes? This is going to be kind of a hard joke to get to, I think. Elephant toes. Slow, because it's got a double punchline. Slow natos. Natos. So slow NATO is a combination of slow tomatoes, like tomatoes, a slow NATO, but it's also slow NATOs, kind of like the slow natives. Slow NATOs is the slow NATO people who are part of NATO. Slow NATOs, do you get it? Oh, you want more? Slow NATOs. That's funny. Slow NATOs. I think that's funny. I think the military generals would like that one. Let me see here. Can someone explain to me why certain words are considered dirty? Why is it, said Carlin, that over 400,000 plus English words in the language, 7 of them is S, P, F, C, C, S, M, F, and T, are thought to be too dirty and improper to use on TV and most newspapers? None of these words, said Carlin, will infect your soul, curve your spine, or keep the country from winning a war. He didn't even use the N word. I mean, my gosh, the N word? The N word newspaper? Right? You get it? The N word newspaper. A man walks into an office of a well known talent agent and says, Sir, I have got an act for you. The agent, I don't want to read through all of this. Okay, I'm looking for tasteless racist jokes here. I'm having a hard time finding them. There's one of them here called the Elon University. I wonder what's there. I have to accept all these cookies. Racial jokes and humor. Racial and ethnic jokes and humor can centralized or marginalized groups. Okay, so so people are not putting them up as much anymore. They're taking them down because of the fact that I'm having a harder time finding. How do trees get on the internet? They log in. Oh, that's funny. What do computers like to eat? Chips. What do you call a space magician? A flying saucer. What is the computer's first sign of old age? Loss of memory. What does a computer call his father? Instead of data, it says data. What do astronauts' favorite control on the computer keyboard? The space bar. I can't find any black jokes. The souls of Stanford University. The souls of white jokes. Let's see. I can't find any black jokes. The racial power of humor. The assumption that all the hues of God's whiteness alone is inherently and obviously better than brownness or tan leads to curious acts. At first, this is from Stanford, by the way. Well, I thought it was. No, it's not Stanford. It said Stanford, but now it's... Oh, it's called the Stanford University Press. Oh, the Stanford University Press, but it's not an EDU, it's an org. Okay, so I don't see anything there that's racist. Let's see here. Racist jokes, philosophy, insult jokes, the Laugh Factory. Let's see if there's something in here. Let's see. Anonymous. Teacher, kids, what does the chicken give you? Student, meat. Teacher, very good. Now what does the pig give you? Student, bacon. Teacher, great. And what does the fat cow give you? Student, homework. Oh, that's funny. Oh no. I wonder if the teacher got it. What does the fat cow give you? Homework. My friend thinks he's smart. He told me an onion is the only food that makes you cry, so I threw a coconut at his face. Roses are red. Your blood is too. You look like a monkey and belong in a zoo. Do not worry, I'll be there too, not in a cage, but laughing at you. Octung. Kid 1, hey, I bet you're still a virgin. Kid 2, yeah, I was a virgin until last night. Kid 1, as if. Kid 2, yeah, just ask your sister. Kid 1, I don't have a sister. Kid 2, you will in about 9 months. I had to think about that one. Can you play racist jokes on YouTube? I don't know. Let me see if... I don't think that'll come up. It might not come up. They probably censored all of it. Let me see here. If I just put racist jokes, racist jokes in an hour. Now I'm on the outside here. 1 hour of the best AI Bigfoot and Yeti jokes. That's what you're going to get. Your racist jokes are going to be monkeys and anything like that has to do with black t-shirts and black pants. That's going to be your racist jokes. That's as far as it goes. That's what I'm seeing. They've gotten rid of all of them. Google has eradicated racist jokes, it looks like. Let's see here. If this is...
I'd take them, but I'm on a keto diet.
Okay, bro, just take your estrogen. Yo, big bitch, take these 10 cheeseburgers or double it and pass it on to the next person.
I'd love to take them.
Oh, I know you would, but I'm gonna double it to help you out. Excuse me, nutritional overachiever.
Okay, that's just some guy running around in a monkey costume. Ranking craziest racist... Wait a second. Okay, let's see what this one is.
Tell me, why would you adopt me?
I'm not gonna say it!
Why would you adopt me?
Because you're black!
Dude, cast a spell.
Willy Wigger, kill that
Okay, that one was weird. So there was what it was there was this black girl yelling at this white guy, why won't you adopt me? And she looks like she's maybe 25 years old or so, yelling at this white guy, why won't you adopt me? And it's like, what in the hell? Yeah, I mean, if she likes him that much, she could get married to him, maybe. Dark humor, offensive jokes, Family Guy. Oh, no! Oh, that's sad. This kid was running on a track and field, and his leg fell off. He was some little white kid, and his leg fell off. Oh. He was running really good, too. It looked like he was going to win the race. I kind of want to go back and see if he won, what happened. Where did it go now? I don't see where it went. Oh, there it is. 1 hour of offensive memes. Let's see what this is. This one looks like it could be.
Up and go! Let's go!
Oh. I don't know what they're doing. They're calling on YouTube. This is what they're calling a racist meme. The cue ball, which is white, is hitting the 8 ball, which is black, into the hole. That's what they're calling racist stuff now. I think that's funny. That's funny. So when you're taking it out on something that's an inanimate object, there's your black and white there, isn't it? I'm cool with it. I'm a monkey. Beautiful. A monkey. Yeah, the poor monkeys. Not all monkeys are black, though. You know that, right? There is monkeys that are orange. The orangutans are orange. They have orange hue, kind of an orange rust-colored hue to them. And so, well, in the United States military, they used to have black combat boots. You know, so what can you do racist to some combat boots? I think the FBI still uses, the FBI, I think, still uses black, don't they? The deep state? I think they do. I'm not sure, though. I'm not positive, but I know, you know, so the thing is, they've taken away and removed everything that is, you know, considered harmful to someone, you know, other than using something that is, you know, really inanimate. And the barber has the audacity to ask for $30. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to listen to it. So, 21 Viral Jokes, Volume 1, Stand-Up Comedy. You know, there was a while, this is going to sound crazy, but I remember Monique. Well, I just got, she seemed over the, I liked Monique, but she got a little bit over the top with her comedy though. And I was asking my ex-husband, I'm like, why is she using the F word so much? It just seems like over the top. And he got mad at me literally for asking that question. He literally got mad at me for asking that question. Why she was, I said I really didn't think that um using the F word that much was, that funny. And then she just kind of disappeared. But so 600 Plant Life says Nixon unconstitutional war is actually cultural genocide rooted in xenophobia. Glyphosate kills left and right wing, our KKK, and bans religious practices. If you knew racist jokes, I would listen to it all day. I really don't have that big of a desire to tell racist jokes. Um, the thing I kind of think about is like what happened to me, being married to my second husband. He was always using the N word all the time. And he actually had told me, he's like, well, if you go and you say that word in front of the wrong person, they're liable to hit you. And so this was probably about, I'm trying to think, maybe about 20 minutes before he actually literally hit me. So and so it's almost like he was saying, he was just saying he couldn't tolerate anything that I was saying at all. And he'd just gotten to the point of he'd just gotten to the point of that he just didn't want to be with me anymore. So it's really not that important to hear racist jokes. I mean, I really don't think they're that funny. Based on hurting people's feelings and things like that. I just don't think they're that funny. I mean, Trump did a nice job doing what he did related to painting his face orange. I mean, that was kind of funny, actually. Him and his bronzer, and then he's done kind of the red thing. He's had his face red. The only thing he didn't do was blue. And one of the things I remember is the Blue Man Group that was in Las Vegas. And then there was a man who went on, I believe it was the Oprah Winfrey Show one time. And he went on there. He had a blue face. And he said that he had taken some medications. And the medications was a side effect that turned his face blue. And I actually believed it at that time. Now, maybe it was a joke or something. I would let you call me the N-word beautiful. I really don't want to. That's not something that's that important to me. It really isn't. I mean, I just don't, it's not worth, it's not worth the energy. It's just not. If it's something that hurts people that much, I'm all for not using the word. I'm all for forgetting about the word. I really am. It's not something that's important to me because I don't need to surface that music around my content. I don't need to do that. And it's like, not only that, then the other thing that it does too is then if you want people to use that word and then you've got them on video, they use that word and then it's like, oh, see, this person is racist. And then you use that against them at a later time. It's like, well, what? I've never heard anybody in Congress use that word. I've not even heard, oh no, I have too. Teachers and scholars have used the word related to reading out of books and things like that. And I know my school teacher when I was a kid, they would use that word and they would have us read it too because it was written in our school books. And so they were explaining to us and telling us about the words that people used Which is, it's demeaning and derogatory, I guess. That's what I'm thinking. And so it's not that important for me to be using the word. I want to be a white woman. You want to be a white woman, black slave, I would let her boss me around. You're going to have to find someone else besides me. That's not something that's that important to me. It's just not. So I can't actually. The Ferguson police and court officials. I actually, the court was hilarious. The judges, when they were doing all that stuff through the court system, and they were talking about the privilege. They were literally talking about the privilege. And the judges kept using the word, well, you've got the privilege. You've got the privilege and the privilege and the privilege. If you guys go through and you look through when they were doing the court hearings in the past 2 years, in the summer of 2023 and 2024, and these judges, that's what they're talking about. Well, I mean, you've got, I can't remember which judge it was and which trial it was. I don't know if it was Lori Dumbbell. No, I don't think it was her. Oh, Fannie Willis. Maybe was it Fannie Willis talking about the privilege? Not her talking about it, but one of the judges. Because they went on YouTube and they kept throwing around the word, the privilege. It's like, well, I mean, you've got the privilege to do this. You've got the privilege to do this. And so it was related to something that had something to do with some black folks or something, I think. I'm not sure. And, but they were dropping the word white. So you're not racist for using the N-word. I know you can say that, but it's not something that's that important for me to use. It really isn't. It's not something that, it's just not that important for me to use. It's not. The N-word, like the word not, I said it's not important for me to use. I just said the word not. It's not important. So isn't that the N-word? It's just not important. It really isn't. It's not something I feel that much. If it makes people upset, it's a word that maybe just does need to go away. What do you think about George Floyd? He's dead. George Floyd is dead. Right? He's dead. Do I have to? I think that we should let Derek Chauvin out of prison. I really do. I think Derek Chauvin should be let out of prison. Don't you guys? For the sake of equality, for there's been selective people who, selective law. So some people have been prosecuted for crimes, others haven't. So it's like there's a half of a, it's like, okay, I guess just depending on what politics we have in office and what politics we don't have in office, there's certain people that are getting prosecuted and certain people are getting let go. Does that seem fair? So, and it's the thing when they talk about immigration and stuff like that. The thing is, I don't know George. I never knew George Floyd personally at all. He just came out of nowhere, and then he's famous on TV for being on TV. And he had some altercation with a police officer. And the thing I always said is, I said it looked to me like that the footage was doctored. And now I'm convinced that it really could be artificial intelligence, that the footage was not even real. Think about that if George Floyd wasn't even a real person. Now that I've dabbled a little bit more in the AI, and I was actually bringing this up to my second husband, and I was telling him, I said, with AI and all the deep fakes and everything, I said, look at Derek Chauvin's face. He has got the strangest look on his face. He's sitting there smiling.